I've been doing it since I was like 14 years old. So as my sister just mentioned, I'm the publisher of Country magazine, and for the last 20 years, I've been lied on, I've been stole from, my name been drug in the dirt, but guess what? Still I rise. So I'm gonna read some notes too from the paper. I remember I was in the 4th grade. My substitute teacher, he brought a manuscript to school, and I'm just looking at this. It was like a novel that he was writing, like 400 pages. And when I saw that, that kind of changed my perspective on life. You know, I was the kid, I didn't like to read, I didn't really like to go to school, I stuttered, and I just became better over the time, you know. So I remember my 6th grade teacher putting me to the side because I was always drawing. It wasn't no outlet for me. That was like escapism from being in poverty. You know, we came up in Pembroke Hawkins Park, one of the poorest places during that time in the country. So he pulled me to the side, he saw my artwork, and it stood out from the rest of the students. And he said, I believe in you. Next thing you know, he started bringing his easel, his artwork to my home. I never had a mail that did anything like that in my life. And that changed my perspective of life. I said, you know what? I want to be an artist when I get older. And, you know, when I worked in a warehouse, you know, fast forward, I worked at a warehouse. It was this guy, he was a music promoter. And I was trying to get on, I was doing shows. I got a cousin I was doing shows with in Chicago and just doing a lot of, you know, hip hop shows. And he pulled me to the side one day. He said, Aaron, you may not be a hip hop artist. You may start a magazine. I was like, huh? I didn't know anything about a magazine. I didn't feel like that was my purpose. I just wanted to be a hip hop artist. So over the years, I grew my magazine catalog because I just love collecting magazines, CDs, records, and everything. But one thing changed my life. One day I woke up, I didn't know our family house was gonna burn down. So I looked at life different. I'm like, I'm collecting all these things, got all this, but the only thing I own because my parents didn't have insurance. I know how it is to walk outside. I only have on some pajamas and some shoes. So that changed my life. So I was like, it gotta be something better in life. So I started to just want to give back. I saw life differently. So I attended Kankakee Community College, where I got my associate degree. Then I went to Chicago and went to Columbia College, Chicago. So from there, I received my Bachelor of Arts, and my concentration was graphic design. And I took classes like packaging design, photography, advertising, and the funniest thing, when I lived in Chicago, I was on the west side. So my mentality, I always had this grinding mentality. Not like a hustle, but I'm not hustling like in a negative way. So that's I'm on Chicago Avenue, knocking on all the business doors. Like, hey, can I do your graphics? Can I make a poster? Can I make a brochure? So I'm just doing that. Even if they said no, I still designed it, took it back to them. And when I took it back, they gave me money, like, hey, thank you. That was just my mentality. So one day I was in the store, this thought came to me. It was an epiphany. I was living in the hood, if that's okay to say, the west side, in the inner city. And I'm like, you know what? I want to inspire people. I need to do something to motivate them. And I was talking to my friend at the time, Lahad. So the idea came, then it left. Then one day we was driving on 1994. The idea came back again. I said, we need to do something to inspire and motivate people. You know, it's a lot of people that was in the community, they wasn't aware of certain things. Ignorance played a factor with a lot of people. So I'm like, if somebody make a change, there have to be me to make that change. So I was like, let's create a pamphlet or something. That's called a consciousness with hip hop. Like I said, I was a hip hop artist. So I was like, this would be a good way, a driving tool for us to get our get our music out, but then I sat on that idea for a while. So next thing you know, when I graduated, I moved to my sister Julia's house, and all these ideas and thoughts just came to me. Topics, working with the masthead and everything from that perspective. So then I just moved back home. I moved back to my parents' home. And my parents' home, I hit a bedroom that I turned into a recording studio. So I turned the recording studio to an office. So that's when I started working on the magazine, and I came to my sister, Moselle, one day and said, hey, I got this idea while working on the magazine, would you like to be a part of it? And she said yes, and she believed in me. So from there, my mentor, Sheffield D. rest his soul, I went to him. He helped me with a lot of business. He grew me into a businessman. He taught me about a lot of, legalities and everything and such. And he told me if I want to take this serious, keep in mind, I just got out of college. So I'm in the art school. I got a big afro. I'm in front of the class, like, I'm just gonna keep it real. I'm in front of the class. Sometimes I go to class, I got a hangover. I was running around my famous cousin, so yeah. I haven't did it in 20 years. I was smoking weed and all that stuff. But, but basically what I'm saying, I just wanted to create this publication, and I told him about it. He told me to cut my hair. He told me I got a style, get a style as far as like casual. I wasn't used to that. And then this was this kicker. He said, now, are you ready to go outside advertisement? I said, what? I wasn't used to going out talking to a business face to face to get, advertising dollars. But I said, I'll take the challenge. I was already in Chicago on the west side knocking on all the doors. Like, hey, I want to do your graphics. I want to do this and that. So like, can't really be a big difference. So I built a team of people. And the interesting thing about building this team of people, I was already at an art school. So I went to my friends. I said, hey, I got this magazine. Would you like to be a part of it? I got a friend that's a photographer, a friend that's an illustrator, a friend that's a writer, anything that you can think of, the multimedia. I had all these friends, and we came together and built this team. And we built Consciousness Magazine. So we was up all night, like my sister Moselle said earlier, calling hundreds of print companies. And I ended up with my friend Mitch house. I think he just walked in. Mitch, I went to Lake Forest for 3 days. Keep in mind, I'm an art student. We was always hard on each other. This guy was very, very hard on me at night, through the daytime. But it was great, right, Mitch? It was great because Columbia College told us to be competitive. They told us to grind. If we want it, go and get it, and that's my mentality. But we sometimes fight over one word from our story for like an hour. I'm like, come on, man, let's just get this done. But I love the criticism because it taught me to be a better person. So, we was all going to different meetings, me and my sisters. We were just everywhere, just networking in Chicago. I was networking so much, my sister called me like about 4 years ago. She said, you met Barack Obama. I said, I did. And I was like, my man was just grinding. There's so many people I met, I forgot who I met them. And I met this one individual, I can't forget it. His name was Wardell. He took me around throughout the whole Chicago area, just meeting business people, networking. But one thing that I remember that he did while I was networking, he had this food in the back of his truck. And everywhere he go, he'd stop at different people's family and bring them bread, fruit. I'm like, they did something to me mentally also, because that was a part of the reason I think we started our organization, Still I Rise, because I see what he was doing also. It wasn't just, he was just out there, just meeting people and just driving around. He was also blessing people in the process of it while he was introducing me to people. So one day he called me, I said, he was coming out like 2 or 3 times a week to Kankakee because he lived in Chicago. So one day he came out, I called my sister, I said, I was kind of tired, I didn't want to go. you know, but I went anyway. You know, that was the time, you know, when I was dating. You know, that's how I met my wife. So I didn't really want to work during the times. Well, not all the time, but you know. But I was blessed that he showed me around and introduced me to a lot of people. So one Saturday morning, before the magazine was actually in print, I woke up, I went on faith. I called my sister Mozana. I said, let's go to Des Plaines. We went to Des Plaines Printing Company. And when we went up there, keep in mind, I didn't have a whole lot of money at the time. The couple thousands I saved up. I was doing odd jobs and just grinding. So we went up there. They put us in a small room. And the lady came in and she said, you know what, we'll print your magazine. First magazine they ever printed for their company. So a couple weeks later, we pick up the magazines, and next thing you know, I'm on the streets of Chicago, everywhere. You see the guy that just came up here that was rapping earlier? Mr. Brandon. This guy was with me on every street corner in Chicago, every college that we went through to promote Consciousness Magazine. And I told him, when you ready, when I get to a point, I'm gonna bring you up, brother, and that's what I did. So, you know, I was just out with a backpack on, just everywhere, just networking. Next thing you know, newsstands started calling me. Then my magazine went to retail stores, Barnes & Nobles, Target. You can go online and order the magazine. So it wasn't easy. So basically what I'm saying, I hate to start from a baby step with a backpack on, to being in the retail stores. So, what was that? So we, like I said, did all the legalities. We had attorneys from DePaul University that helped us with our paperwork. I was going to SCORE, they sent me a mentor. Small Business Association, they helped us out a lot as far as with the ground, as far as with the paperwork and everything. And next thing you know, I'm traveling all around the country. I'm at the Bulls Stadium. I'm at the Chicago Bears practices. I'm on the phone with individuals interviewing celebrities for NBC, ABC, different newspapers like The Sources. I thought me coming from poverty, that kid that basically came from like nothing, I thought I could never reach that level. But it was a sacrifice, it was a purpose. This is not something that I wanted to do. And I went through a lot to get to this point. I had to turn down like record deals. And the challenges of, one day I went to New York, came back to Chicago with my friend Mitch. My brother called me. Keep in mind, our family house, no one was living there. So I had master CDs and everything with the magazine in. And this is how things attack you. Like Mozetta was saying earlier. Don't you know someone came in that house, broke in, didn't take anything but the magazine CDs. It was like something just trying to stop me, you know. But I kept going. And I hit a marketing team. The project was for $15,000. I paid him a certain amount of money. Call, disappeared on me. Took $5,000. I'm like, wow. Is I'm doing something wrong or something trying to attack me and take me away from my purpose? But the great thing about it, when I went out in public, I know my purpose because people were saying, hey, Aaron, I just want to thank you, Inspirational magazine. It really inspired me. I was down that day. When I picked up your publication, it uplifted me and inspired me. I remember a friend in Chicago called me when I was in Kankakee. He was so excited. He said, Aaron, somebody's on the train reading your magazine. I was like, that's cool. Because I know it didn't stop there, you know. I know it's more work to put in. Came for nothing. She said, no, you didn't. She said, you have a mother, right? I said, yeah. You had a grandma, right? I said, yeah. She said, you see where you're at now, right? I said, yeah. So you did come from nothing. I'm something. So never say you never came from nothing because you already had something when you was born. And I take it everywhere with me. So with that being said, we became a nationwide magazine. And I remember I was interviewing DJ Premier. I interviewed DJ Premier, I also interviewed Guru from Gang Star. He said, Aaron, you would be the one that keep hip hop alive. That's what he told me. I remember being on the phone with Heavy D, going out to LA. He used to give me just a lot of valuable information. I had people that took me under their wings. So some of the people we interviewed, there's a guy here now, I don't know if he left the room. BMO was one of the people we interviewed like 16 years ago. So we interviewed individuals like Blair Underwood, Seattle Sutton, Cool for Cool in the Game, Danny Glover, Robert Townsend, India Reed, Babyface, Mark Victor Hansen. Millionaire Mark Victor Hansen told me to keep writing books. I think it don't get no better than that. So a lot of you guys gave me valuable information. We interviewed the late Tito Jackson, Anthony Hamilton, gospel singers like Vanessa Bader Armstrong, CeCe Winans, Vanessa Adams, Tony Little. And this one said I'm going to be done. If you ever did anything for Conscious Magazine, if you was a part of the staff, can you come to the front, please? If you have promote, if you was a writer, if you was a photographer, can you come to the front, please? These are just a few people that's here today that helped me get my magazine off the ground. My wife been beside me since day one. I met this guy almost 20-something years ago. And this my guy Mitch, I met him at Columbia College, Chicago. And he was there for me since day one. He's an amazing photographer, amazing writer. When you being humble, when Mitch said, hey, I got a project, guess what I did? I'm hungry for knowledge. I went everywhere he went, and he taught me a lot. I don't care what level you're on. I was hungry for the knowledge. I was hungry for the wisdom. So I want to say thank you. I couldn't do this by myself. I had a team of like 20 people working with them. It eventually got smaller, but for the last 20 years, we just kept going. And I tell people at the end of the day, I don't care. With my success level who I interview, I always stay humble. I'm grateful for every moment. I'm grateful for everyone in here that's sitting down or standing up, because I know this moment cannot be. I tell people I'm a professional graphic designer. I know one day I can wake up and be missing a finger and I can't design at all. So I take nothing for granted.
That's right. That's right.
I just want to thank you.